Alright, so here is the next activity. What I want you to do is, remember I sent you 3 pictures. You're going to choose 2 of them. So here I've drawn 1 and this is 2. I'm going to use this one because this one is not balanced on the page. Alright, so you choose 2 of them. You are going to be drawing 2 of them. I sent you 3 pictures. You're going to draw 2 of them. Alright, let me see if I can get this so I can shade it. Alright, now your task is to choose one of the shading techniques that you prefer, and you're going to do it on one. You're going to choose 2 of the shading techniques rather. You're going to use one shading technique on one of the drawings, and you're going to use the other shading technique on the other drawing. I like soft pencil shading, and so I am going to be using that for my drawing. Alright, so we are going to, after you have drawn your image, you can start your shading. Alright, I'm going to try to go quickly so that this video is not long and so that I don't have to speed it up. Alright, there we go. We're putting in the dark area. Remember that the background of this picture is a little darker than the rest of the image. Remember, as I said before, when you're shading, you shade in one direction. You try to keep as sharp pencil as you can. If you're using the soft pencil shading technique, you still watch the pressure that you're putting on the pencil. Right? Pressure is very important. Pressure is very, very, very important. Alright, so there is my background. Now I need to determine where my lightest area is and where my darkest areas are, and then we're going to go from there. Remember, when you're shading, you start light, don't go dark first. And remember, when you're sketching, right, your lines are not to be dark. Why is it that your lines are not to be dark? Because in the natural sense, we don't see lines. In the natural world, we don't. If you're drawing a box, you don't see lines on the box. It is the change of value that creates the illusion of a line. So because we're trying to imitate that on a two-dimensional surface, yes, we have to start out with a line, but at the same time, we try our best to use the value, the change of value, to create that illusion that there is light there, that there's a line there, okay? And I want you to keep that in mind all the time when you are doing your shading. We don't have a real line there, it's just a change of value that creates that illusion. Alright, let me go here a little. Alright, now you notice that I'm telling you not to shade in, I'm telling you to shade in one direction, but if you notice, even though I have turned the paper and I'm shading in the other direction, you are not seeing where I started and where I ended. So I want you to keep that in mind as well. So over time, as you practice and as you get used to shading, you're going to understand how to shade in different direction without it being, you know, obvious, too obvious. But for now, I want you to practice to shade in one direction. Okay, look. Alright, so, and again, while you're shading, you don't just shade what's in your head. You are looking at your object. You're trying to observe where the light is coming from. You're observing where the reflected light is. And I know that we have not, you know, fully gone into all of those things, so just take this as a, you know, extra lesson. All right, so this is my other side. Pressure is changing. Oh, it's because I erased. That's what happens when you don't use the correct eraser, guys. So you need to try to get the correct eraser, okay? The colored erasers are not the correct ones that you would use for drawing and erasing art. Alright, you need what is called a cheese eraser or a soft eraser, I think it's called. Not sure right now because I'm getting some pressure marks here, and that's because the eraser has irritated the paper. Why I'm getting those pressure marks and those textured area. Alright, so again, we're observing the object. Alright, so look where your values are, look where your reflected lights are, as I said before, and then you take your time and you add them in. Alright, so notice when I was shading the side, I shaded in that direction. When I was shading the right side, when I was shading the left side, I shaded, so I shaded as if I'm shading in a V, right? So when you're shading a 2-point perspective object, you shade towards the vanishing point. Alright, and in a 2-point perspective, you have 2 vanishing points, one on the left, one on the right, so you shade towards either sides. Alright. when you're shading the top of a surface, you shade it horizontally, and that will give it the illusion that it is flat. You watch your pressure again. This is our lightest side, or lightest area. So we want to make sure that we're getting the correct values. Finish. We are almost finished, but I think I can stop here, can't I? Because now I think you understand the task that you are supposed to be doing. Right? So again, I am doing the same thing. I am shading in a different direction, but at the same time, you cannot just get up and say, Miss, you are shading left, and then you started to shade right and all of that. All right. So again, just pay keen attention to your values, and you won't go wrong. Pay attention to your values and you will not go wrong. All right, so let's put in a little of the shadow. And remember, I was telling you something in class that when you start shading, you're going to learn that a shadow has 3 different parts. And if you observe this picture that we are drawing, you're going to observe it in this picture. Alright? Oops, that's gone around a little bit too far, but I'm going to allow it to stay. Looking at your shadow and the value of your shadow, and you're trying to ensure that you get it right. Alright, I do hope that this video was helpful. So again, watch out for your values. Watch out for the different values that are in the composition, and you know, try to pick them out. Remember, you're doing observational drawing, so now is the time that you're learning how to see. You're training your eyes to see. You're training your eyes to draw what you see and not what is in your head, right? So I want you to pay attention to those things as you practice to draw and as you practice to shade. Alright, and oops, so where's my 4B? And so I want you to, as you go, I want you to practice, and I'm looking for some exciting pieces when you come back to class. Alright, looking for some exciting pieces. And we're finished. Alright, all the best in your effort. I think my shadow is a little bit too dark, but all the best in your effort. And as I said before, I'm looking forward to seeing what you will produce. Alright.